everyone, Dave Foreman here, the herbal pharmacist, and I'm really excited to do another one of these video casts for you all today. Going outside my normal box, actually interviewing the CEO and founder of Clutch Cognition, Rune Larson. And Rune, I really want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day.
Yeah, well, it's my pleasure, David. I'm glad to be here for sure.
So doing my own little homework on your company, I think the one thing that really just bubbles out, on your website is a passion for doing things. Tell me where this passion comes from.
Right. Yeah, I guess it all starts back with myself being a molecular biologist, having worked for around a decade with functional nutrition, and really having found that passion that I think, initially when I went into molecular biology, it was to make pharmaceuticals, but I ended up realizing that I just I'd rather work with trying to help healthy individuals in the best possible way I could think of, and that was basically through nutrition. So that's essentially my passion and what I've been specializing in for this decade, and then creating this company together with my wife, who's a doctor, and Sam, who's a former associate and also a nutrition author. We just found a great trinity to try and use our passion for health and nutrition to basically benefit as many ordinary people, as you will, as possible. That's what gets us up in the morning, and as you say, it is really about creating the best that we can, because there are a lot of products out on the shelves, and if we didn't aspire to basically try to create something next level, then why bother even starting a company? That's how we see it, at least.
So your first product is a beverage. But why did you choose a beverage over a tablet, capsule, or other dosage forms?
Yeah, that's a super good question, and that also taps back into what I said before. It is to try to have as much positive impact on the world as possible, because as the founders of Clutch Cognition, the way we see the market is that there are, well, sorry to say, and I don't mean to step on any toes, but there are a lot of unhealthy and quite bad products out on the shelves, especially in the beverage market. That's our opinion. And that both relates to health on one side, but also functionality. And we do see a lot of people, a lot of consumers, seemingly wanting to ingest functionality and cognitive functionality in the shape of beverages. Particularly energy drinks being such a massive industry, and based on our knowledge, we thought that there should be room in the market for something that's not only healthier, but also actually has a much more positive effect, because it's our impression that basically people want to bolster their productivity throughout the day by drinking something like energy drinks, and
Yep.
If you look at the science behind it, it's a short rush. And so our idea was to create something that's not only more natural, but also has a more prolonged effect without the negatives associated with energy drinks. So that's essentially why we chose a beverage.
So the way I looked at your ingredients, and actually I learned about your company through a colleague of mine that works for Sibelius, and I know Sibelius sage is one of the ingredients that you've used, but all your ingredients are botanicals, which for me, it's kind of funny. You talked about how you got into your degree thinking you would go into pharmacy. Well, my degree was in pharmacy, and I did go that route, and now I've gone quote natural, and I really like people to get things from a food source nutritionally or for the biochemical compounds, those beneficial compounds that come in plants before they take a, an isolated, component, like similar to like drugs are these days. But it's interesting. What made you guys go with just pretty much just the botanical route? I mean, I think all of your ingredients are botanical based, right?
Indeed, and we made this a central pillar of our whole company. So it basically derives out of a lot of the work that we've done previously professionally, particularly looking at the clinical evidence behind various plant extracts, and despite what people might think, in general, they are actually quite potent and quite well proven. So why not benefit off of that? And also, as I said, it's, if you want to benefit healthy people, I think there's almost like a safety net in some sense to using something that's naturally derived and has a lot of phytonutrients in it, rather than something that's a pure molecular fraction, and potentially also synthetic. Synthetic in itself is necessarily negative, but it's we see it as a sort of both a safeguard, but also just trying to get the benefits of plants out there to the people, given that there's so much more to benefit from that we see in the functional food market today.
So, out of all of the ingredients, the one I mentioned, Sibelius sage, and I was blown away because there aren't many things in the natural world that I can feel quickly.
Right.
A majority of the time, like if you took an immune supplement today, you wouldn't feel it working on your immune system. You would probably never feel it working on your immune system. The only thing you might notice is 6 months down the road that you haven't been getting those colds you used to or whatever. But in this case, you've created a product that I like to call experiential. It's literally something you can feel. Is that part of why you went with Sibelius sage? Because it does kind of give you that mental energy?
Indeed, it is. I mean, one of the big concerns around creating something that's going to be viable out in the real world with a lot of competition, particularly in the beverage market, is creating something that has an impact in terms of functionality that can be felt, especially when going up against energy drinks, which are all caffeine laden, and caffeine is like, it's the one prime example of something that you can actually feel right away. So creating a meaningful alternative that has an acute effect that can be felt, it was really a big task, and also the reason probably why it took nearly 4 years to develop, but also what makes it essentially patentable. So that's a really big aspect of our creation, is creating something that the consumer can benefit from right away, and hopefully also feel, because as you say, there are a lot of different things that can give you small increments in whatever, memory, focus, stress reduction, but it's over time, then you don't necessarily really feel it, even though it's there.
Right. I find that the ingredients you used are not just limited to someone who's wanting to stay sharp, focused. Maybe a little. You've got a little bit of Zen in there with the green tea extract that you guys use, right? I mean, that's kind of
a tea extract that's actually absent of caffeine, which
right.
is quite unique.
Yeah, and I think that would kind of blow people's minds, because usually that's why people have tea.
Indeed.
Is to get that that extra lift, and yet yours has it removed completely. And it was really interesting, because for me, like, you guys owned it right up front, and you had a great reasoning as to why you did that. But this isn't just for people that are into playing sports or e-gaming. It's for people like you and I that have a career, that want to stay sharp and focused. Or
yeah.
I mean, who really is your market? I mean, I feel like to me, it could be broad, but I'm not your consumer yet.
No, right. But I mean, you basically nailed it. The way that we see it, it is beneficial for so many people. So at this stage, which is, we're only just about to launch after those many years of preparation, we expect to engage in a learning process right now to see who actually turns out to be our customers. So we're trying not to polarize consumers too much by saying that this is just for gamers and esports, or rather this is just for sports. We're trying to basically test out the waters, because we can see really a lot of different demographics benefiting from this concept.
Well, as the herbal pharmacist, I was really thrilled to, see what all it was. I can see why it took, as a guy that's actually done some formulating for people, with creating, unique, what I would call, patentable formulations. I can see why it took 4 years to get to where you are today. I have not had the blessing of trying it. What's the feedback on your beverage in general?
No, it's been really good so far. We created a prototype, a few thousand units, which, for the beverage industry, that's nothing. But that was our prototype, and we presented it to a lot of people. And I think that, people like, basically ourselves, professional adults, generally really appreciate the fact that it's plant-based, it's natural, and the fact that it's healthy and has these cognitive benefits. Whereas, on the other side of the spectrum, we have younger individuals who might be into gaming, who are more interested in in the performance aspects of the products. And but both categories really seem to appreciate the product. So we've had some really promising feedback already. And in terms of the taste, obviously, adults seem to really like the naturalness of the taste, and the sort of subtle sweetness, whereas people who are used to drinking something like Red Bull, in case they like the taste of Red Bull, they probably think that it's on the less sweeter side of things. But that's also actually a learning process, because you can't basically make a beverage that appeals to everyone. You can have benefits that might be universally appealing, but not a taste. So we'll learn more about that, and we can potentially adapt the taste also to suit the likes of younger individuals if that's necessary.
So what kind of feedback are you getting from people that have taken your product?
They'd say that it tastes really nice. It's not too sweet. Sometimes they say it's
Well, I mean, like,
sort of a sparkling tea.
Like, what about activity? Like, what about feeling, though? The activity part of it, the functionality of it, I guess we'll say.
Yeah. In general, people say that there are people who confirm that they feel more concentrated for longer, which is one of the primary purposes of the product. But we also have people who, had the product for during the midday, and basically skipped lunch off of it. It's not meant to be a meal replacement, but when you drink it, try and feel how it. I mean, try and feel if you can be yourself for longer. That's essentially what we want to help people do,
Right.
be their best self for longer.
And I want, unrelated to the product, and this goes back to the whole first class part of what I felt like you're doing at Clutch, is your desire to be socially responsible. And I know that really has nothing to do with the product, but at the end of the day, to me, it does, because it shows even more about your company's integrity. Can you talk to the things that are, why is the social responsibility important? That's probably a really dumb question, but I just want to hear it in your words.
We're very conscious about what we do. I mean, there's basically nothing that's left to chance, but first and foremost, what we wanted to do was obviously create the ultimate functional and healthy product, and that in itself is, I suppose, good corporate responsibility.
Yes.
Not that we're a corporate, right? But CSR a bigger point in our agenda than it was initially. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Rune, I really appreciate you taking time out of your day. Why don't you give your company's website so people can get some more information?
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate the opportunity as well, David. So the company website is www.clutchcognition.com.
Again, I appreciate you sharing your story.
Well, thanks a lot, David. Again, appreciate the opportunity. And if you're ever in the vicinity, be sure to swing by.
I will. And by the way, when people say that, you better mean it, because I will take you up on it.
I do.
All right. Cheers. Thank you very much.